star is here. How you guys doing? I'm Big Daddy, Papa Joe,
So what's up, y'all?
aka.
It's Nakia, and we are back with Blossom TV. I wanted to welcome someone, but he has already welcomed
How
himself.
y'all
Here's
doing?
Cameron's dad, y'all. This
Papa
is
Joe.
Joe. Oh, and I wanted
How
to
y'all
bring him
doing?
on just to give you guys, the opposite, well, the other side of the pregnancy. 50% here. So,
Dad life. Dad life.
dad life. Okay. So, Joe,
Yo.
just a few questions for the viewers to get to know you a little bit. Tell us about yourself. Well, tell them about who you are.
Name's Joseph. I'm originally from Brooklyn. I'm 28 at this point. I'm about to graduate college, y'all. It's been a while. It's been a long
Okay.
run. But I'm finally here. I'm super excited, man. Cameron's on the way. Big headed Nikia's in the pic. We're all loving.
Okay. Okay. How did you feel when you first found out that I was pregnant?
Oh, all right. So look, right. I just had like one of the worst experiences anybody could ever possibly have, like the day before. So we had taken my grandmother out, and it was just like a complete disaster. And despite like all efforts, like everything was kind of crazy. But then like I was dealing with like family issues and all of that, so I wasn't necessarily in like the best spirits or whatever. So then she calls me. Well, she FaceTimes me, and I'm at work, and I curve it easy. So she sends me a text message. I'm like, yo, everything is okay. She's like, yo, I need you to call me back. I'm like, yo, all right, bet. So I call back, and so we had like this little game, right? I don't know if y'all ever seen like a Different World, but basically like where Whitney tells like Dwayne, Whitney, whatever. Anyway, when she tells Dwayne like she's pregnant, you know what I'm saying? She's like, touchdown, all of this crap, right? So literally, she calls me and she tells me the exact same thing, and I'm like, what? So she says it again, and I'm like super excited, man, because I'm like, yo, ever did that?
Okay, so Joe, tell us what scares you the most about being a first-time parent.
Just that. I mean, being a first-time parent, like you don't know what to expect. You don't know what your child's gonna be like. You don't know what your child likes, doesn't like. You don't know. You don't know what you're doing, man. And I mean, it's kind of nerve-wracking, man. Like you're excited, but at the same time, it's like you have no idea what you're doing. Like this is literally gonna be your first test trial, and I think that scares me the most, man. Like not knowing what she expects, not knowing what she may need at the moment, not being able to fulfill those, not being able to provide for her, not being able to protect her. I think those are like the biggest scares that I have at the moment.
Tell us who you look to for answers as far as, men who have already gone through what you're currently going through.
I would say the people who I run to most about answers regarding how best to, be supportive for her as well as to get through this myself would be my friends and family. I know, well, I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and my chapter brothers, a number of them have had children, particularly girls like myself. So I go to them and I ask them questions like, how did you feel when you first found out you were about to be a dad? What are things I need to be looking out for? You having a daughter, how does that make you feel? What signs do you look for? To make sure that she's okay. How's your relationship with her? What is the biggest thing that you take from having a daughter? How can I improve myself so that by the time Cameron gets here, I'm ready for her, and
Hey, that's baby bluff.
I think leaning to her dad as well as my dad, having that open communication where I can go talk to them, in the event of, me losing my way or, me being confused about, what what my next step should be or how best to plan for my next step. I think that's pretty good. Also, talking to my mom and her mom has been a really really big help. Them, having raised children like into adulthood, uh, just that open window, of a mother's standpoint as well. Because us as fathers, we tend to look at it from a completely different, I would say, a completely different perspective than women. So, um, having both perspectives of my upbringing, her upbringing, gives me particularly, some idea of how Cameron may or may not be. You know.
Are there any qualities that you really, really want Cameron to have, or you really wish or hope she would
I hope
have?
she's funny. I love to joke. I love to laugh. I love to play and stuff like that. So I'm
Well, with us, she gonna
hoping.
be funny.
I really honestly hope like she's a jokester. Like she likes to laugh and smile and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to her having that. I'm also looking for her to be I wouldn't say self-sufficient um just yet, but I do want her as she grows older to be able to independently think. I want her
Hmm.
to be uneasily influenced.
Hmm.
If that makes sense. Like I don't want people to be able to persuade her thought and have more influence on her decision and her actions, her words than she does. I want her to be focused. I want her to be strong. I want her to be I want her to be unique. I
She.
want her to be able to come into her own and not fear who she is, but more so welcome and understand it. That's something that I can't help her with. I can help her grow. I can help her become who she is, but I can't help her accept who she is. And I hope like it doesn't take years for her to, you know, grow to love herself.
How have you changed since becoming an expecting father? Like just the way you move and how you think. Explain
Uh,
that to us.
I would say the biggest change that I've noticed is that I'm a little bit more patient. I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm working on my patience, particularly dealing with this one. But uh, I think my patience level as a whole is starting to grow. Understanding that I have to be a little bit more patient because she's gonna need that time. Um, you know, I'm trying to think of like all the things that like are gonna take time with her, and because of that, I'm kind of wrapping my mind about it. I'd say I'm getting a better hold on not cursing, because I curse a lot, um, just by habit. Like I think my cursing has gone down significantly. I think my appreciation of women, it was already high, but I think now it's like super high because now I know that I'm raising one. So,
What about like seeing what women like go through being
I
pregnant?
mean
Like the
that
good
that
and the bad.
definitely is that's an eye opener to say the least, man, because she has been uh
I've been an angel.
I don't know if we would quite use that term. Loose, very
I
very
mean,
loose.
pregnancy
But I
isn't
think
a walk in the park.
yeah, pregnancy isn't a walk in the park, man. Not for myself, not for her, especially for her. But I think like you,
Yeah.
you start to notice a lot. Like in the first trimester, it's just kind of like it's like being blindsided. You both have absolutely no idea what to expect. So I think a lot of things
It's
kind of
not a good
get
angle.
lost. In that understanding, with that lack thereof understanding. I think it's like a bunch of you know miscommunication, misunderstanding that leads to like a lot of disgruntled moments,
Hmm.
especially like with the hormone changes and you know the accommodation of her needs. It's kind of like all pretty abrupt, and there's really no way to protect yourself. So um, I definitely think that watching her go through what she's going through has made me appreciate her more, much more. It's made me appreciate the process by which Cameron is being born, because I know me personally, I don't have the strength to do this. Um, and I sincerely appreciate her for sacrificing her body, her time, you know, just to bring this life into fruition. um,
Just,
my biggest supporter through all of this, I can easily say my biggest supporter through all of this has been her. She's been
dealing with all that.
that's why you can't give people compliments. But no, she's been my biggest supporter, man. She knows that this whole new journey has been stressful for me, and sometimes it gets a little too stressful for her, and then that stress bounces off on me as well. So she's done her best to calm me down, reassert the fact that I'm gonna be a great father, that I'm doing a great job of catering to her needs, and making her feel special throughout all of this, because it gets quite easy for her to look in the mirror. Oh, I'm getting big, and I'm like, yo, I mean, it's understandable. Like,
I'm going through a lot.
but I think us being each other's biggest supporter through this has been like the best part for me. You know.